Good morning, everyone. Okay, so before we get into anything today, I have to tell you about my morning because it was a lot. And I know a lot of you moms have had mornings like this too and can relate. So, my daughter Mia is 3. And if you ever had a 3-year-old, you already know where this is probably headed. We are in full three-nager mode over here. The attitude, the negotiating, the complete refusal to do anything I ask of her. It is a whole vibe and personality. I love her more than I can put into words, and she is also currently my greatest challenge. Anyway, this morning she decided, for reasons that remain unclear to me and probably to her as well, that the potty was not going to be part of her plans today. We are potty trained. We have been potty trained. And yet, here we are. Regression, full regression. It happens, I know. But I found myself this morning bear crawling around my house, cleaning up after her. I'm literally on my hands and feet, down low, moving throughout the living room, wiping up her pee like I was in a workout that I did not sign up for in the dark at 6 a.m. And honestly, the only thought I had after the initial kind of, are you kidding me right now, frustration moment was, thank God I am fit. Thank God I can get up and down off the floor 100 times and do 2 minutes of unbroken burpees without thinking about it. Thank God I have the strength and the mobility too to just, handle the chaos of motherhood and get on with it without my body being another thing that, I have to manage on top of everything else. And this is what fitness as a mom actually looks like sometimes. You have to get down and dirty, right? You're juggling a car seat, a stroller, a diaper bag, a crying kid over your shoulder. It's not always a PR on your back squat. Sometimes it's farmer carrying 2 children through the playground or the house or a grocery store. Although most of the moms in our moms class actually did PR like everything they lifted last week. So, for them it is constant PRs, but sometimes it is just about being able to bear crawl through your living room at 6 a.m., wiping up pee and being genuinely grateful, really, that your body can do that. And in moments like that, it is nice to be able to go, at least I can do this and I'm not in pain or not going to risk pulling my back. So is life right now. And you know what? I wouldn't trade it for a thing. So I turned a situation that was a little crazy this morning into a moment of gratitude for being a strong mom. Okay, so if you can relate to that in any way, and I know some of you absolutely can, my weekly OxFit Moms episode every Wednesday right here, 10 a.m., it's for you. So whether you are currently pregnant, freshly postpartum, a few months out, or honestly, just someone who wants to understand what this season of life actually looks like, keep listening. Pull up a chair, grab your coffee while it's maybe still hot, or your reheated coffee, and let's talk. So last week, we dove deep into training strong through every single trimester of pregnancy. We talked about how to modify through every trimester of pregnancy, what to kind of expect mindset-wise, kind of biologically, physiologically, what was happening in your body, and how to kind of navigate that athlete brain when you're pregnant and all of your friends are, still pushing towards fitness goals, and maybe you are taking that step back and just listening to your body and being smart. So anyways, this episode is a great companion to what I talked about last week, because we are going to now talk about what's on the other side of that journey. So the baby is here. The chapter has turned, and now the question becomes, all right, what now? How do I come back to fitness? How do I take care of myself again? And I want to be really clear about something before we even get into the tips that I want to share. This is definitely not an episode about bouncing back. I hate that phrase. Sometimes it slips out of my mouth too, because it is just something we hear often. But I'm not going to talk about how fast you can lose the baby weight or getting back to exactly where you were before. This is not what that is. And that is not the expectation. This is about coming home to your body, a body that just did something extraordinary, and building something even better, one step at a time. So I have 6 tips for you today, and I want you to really sit with each one, because returning to fitness postpartum is about so much more than sets and reps. It is about giving yourself grace and focusing on community and truly learning how to show up for yourself in a completely new way. So let's get into it. In those early days and weeks of postpartum, your only job is to receive. And that can be really tough for some of us. It was for me. I've always kind of struggled just sitting back and letting people love on me. But receive the love, receive the help, receive the meals. If your people have signed up for your meal train, eat every single casserole and every pot of soup and every batch of cookies that shows up at your door with zero guilt. Let your family love on you. Let your friends show up for you. You grew an entire human being. You deserve to be taken care of. This is not the time to be thinking about burning calories or getting back to the gym. This is the time to stare at your baby for hours, to sleep whenever you possibly can, to cry the happy tears and the hard ones and all the ones in between. Binge watch the trashy TV shows and read all the gossip mags. Just be in that season, completely in it with your new family. I say this first because I think we live in a culture that wants to rush past this part. And I had these feelings of guilt, feelings of I need to get back, that phrase that I just mentioned of I need to bounce back. I need to be the perfect mom, do all the things, have the perfectly clean house, be able to show everyone that I can balance it all. But I refuse to talk about that on this podcast, or at least to promote that on this podcast. The fitness will come. I promise you it will be there waiting for you. But this newborn bubble, this soft, sleepy, beautiful, chaotic little season, it is fleeting. So before I give you a single piece of fitness advice, I want to give you full permission to do nothing first. Rest, eat, love. That is enough for this early postpartum season. And you know what? This early postpartum season can be defined, in different ways for different people. If you need a definition, I'm loosely talking about weeks 0 to 6, but man, it is a hard first year. So take all of the time you need. So tip number 1, and I mean this from experience, is to just be present. Enjoy being home with your family and new baby. This special time may never happen again in your life. Just sit with that. Okay, so when the dust starts to settle a little, and this varies, of course, person by person, and you are starting to feel like a human being again, there is going to be this urge to just jump back in, to get back to the gym, to run, to lift, to do something that feels like the old you. It's normal. Trust me. I experienced it myself twice. I understand that urge completely, but I want to ask you to pump the brakes just a little, because your body is not ready for that yet, even if your mind is. Your core and your pelvic floor have been through the ringer. Whether you had a vaginal birth or a C-section, things have been stretched and shifted in ways that go deeper than what you can see or feel on the surface. So what does ready actually look like? It looks like starting with your breath. And I don't think I really prioritized this enough in my first pregnancy, and then learned the hard way and did so in my second. So I can't reiterate this enough. Diaphragmatic breathing, slow, deep belly breathing, one of the most powerful tools you have in early postpartum. When you breathe all the way down into your belly and you are re-engaging your deep core, calming your nervous system, and beginning the process of healing from the inside out. It sounds almost too simple, but think about it. How often do you just take deep breaths throughout the day, right? It's rare for a normal person. And this is why it works, because you're learning to slow down and reconnect with your body. From there, you layer in mindful pelvic floor work. And I do not mean just squeezing. and hoping for the best. I mean a slow, deliberate lift, a full hold, and then this part is important, a complete release. And the release matters just as much as the lift. A pelvic floor that is constantly gripped and tight is just as much of a problem as one that is weak. So learn the full range, learn how to breathe through the full range, and start doing simple, gentle floor exercises while your baby is napping or in the boppy or on, in the little chairs and things that they have, right? My kids were in like 5 different chairs, I feel like, throughout the day. And so take advantage of that time to just lay there, do some breathing, do some glute bridges, some heel slides, some bird dogs. These are not just beginner moves. They're really foundational. Okay. So take it serious and build the base for everything that comes after. So my second tip is start with breath work and simple floor exercises while you're laying around the house. Reconnect with your body before you start performing. Your foundation is everything. There is one thing I've recommended to almost every postpartum mom I've ever worked with, and it costs nothing, requires no equipment, and does not need a gym membership even, or even a green light from your doctor to start doing it. This is getting outside and walking. I know it sounds almost too low key, but hear me out, because a daily walk in those first 6 weeks is genuinely one of the most powerful things you can do for your recovery, not just physically, though the physical benefits are real, but mentally, emotionally, hormonally, all of it, honestly. Getting outside with your stroller, feeling the sun on your face, moving your body in fresh air, it clears the fog. It lifts your mood. And speaking of the sun, let's talk about vitamin D for a second, because postpartum mamas are often depleted. Most people are, but think about postpartum moms, right? We're inside a lot. You're inside more than ever, maybe, than you've ever been in your life. And getting natural sunlight on your skin every single day is one of the simplest ways to support your mood, your energy, your immune system, your hormonal recovery. And it's free. It's right outside your front door. And most of us are not getting nearly enough of it anyways. I know this can be challenging though, because sometimes you can get in that rut of feeling lonely and but having and experiencing those baby blues. They're real. It's really tough. I don't want to deny that or minimize it. But if you can set an alarm on your phone even so that it becomes consistent every day, even 5 minutes. There's something to be said for a walk that has nothing to do with even steps, right? Or distance. When you're a new mom, your brain is constantly on, constantly alert, constantly anticipating the next feed, the next nap, the next window that you need to squeeze 10 things into, right? A walk gives you a rare pocket of something that feels like stillness, even when you have a baby in the stroller in front of you. It is moving meditation. It's a chance to breathe, to think, or to think about absolutely nothing for 20 minutes. That kind of mindful present time outside is genuinely restorative in a way that no supplement can replicate. And here's the thing from a fitness standpoint, walks are also quietly building your aerobic base back up. They are getting your body used to moving again. They're loading your bones and joints in a gentle, impact-free way, so that by the time you're cleared for more, you're not starting from zero. You're stepping up from a foundation that you've been laying all along. So just start with 10 minutes and build from there. There's no pace, no goal. Just get outside and move. Listen to your body. And if you notice a little heaviness or pressure, then just pull back. But if you feel okay, get out there every single day. So my third tip is walks are going to be your best friend in those early weeks. The movement, the sunshine, the fresh air, the mental reset, simple, free, and so powerful. All right, here's where I see a lot of mamas go wrong. So they get their 6-week clearance, which, by the way, is a very, very general green light and not nearly as comprehensive as most people assume. And then they just jump back into whatever class or program's available and hope for the best. And I understand it. You trust that the doctor gave you a green light for a reason, and you're excited, you're ready, you want to feel like yourself again. But your body at 6 weeks postpartum is still healing in ways that are not visible. And what it needs more than intensity is the right environment, the right guidance, the right people. Pelvic floor therapist, not just your OB for a quick chat, an actual pelvic floor PT who is going to assess your deep core, check for diastasis, evaluate your pelvic floor function, and give you a real personalized approach of what your body is actually ready for. And I want to make this as easy as possible for you. Because if you are part of the OxFit community, or even if you are just local to us here in Grant Park, we have Sage Physical Therapy right on site at OxFit, right here. You don't have to hunt anyone down or figure out where to go. Kayla Potts is right here in our building. She knows our community and she understands exactly what postpartum bodies need. And that's not an accident. That's intentional because we believe that access to the right care should not be a barrier for any mama walking through our doors. So step one, book that appointment with Sage Physical Therapy. Get the real picture of what your body needs, where it is. Walk away with actual information, not just a generic clearance. And then once you have that, come find your people, because here's what I know to be true. The environment you train in postpartum matters enormously, probably more than ever before. You need a group that understands diastasis recti and doesn't look at you with a blank stare when you say you have diastasis recti. A group that knows how to scale movements for a body that's still rebuilding. A group where someone's not going to hand you a jump rope at 6 weeks postpartum and call it empowerment. A group that celebrates a heavy deadlift and a slow healing walk with exactly the same energy. That is what the OxFit Moms community is. It's a space where you can walk in exactly as you are, 6 weeks out, 6 months out, wherever you are in this journey, and be coached by people who actually understand the season of life, where the programming is built around healing bodies, not despite them, where you are surrounded by other women who just get it in a way that's really hard to find anywhere else. And if you want something even more personalized, if you want someone in your corner who can look at where you specifically are, work directly with what Sage has already assessed, and guide you through every modification and every progression as you build back, well, that's something I offer through personal coaching as well. We can map out your return to fitness together. Make sure nothing falls through the cracks. Make sure you're eating the right things to build muscle and recover, and build a plan that is yours. Not a template, not a generic program, yours. Community is not a bonus in postpartum fitness. It is actually part of the medicine. So my fourth tip, get a real assessment from a pelvic floor PT. Surround yourself with a community and coaches like ours at OxFit Moms who know exactly how to bring you back strong. All right, moving on. When you're starting to feel more like yourself, when the workouts are happening, when you're building momentum, that is when nutrition comes into focus. And this is an area where I see a lot of confusion, a lot of guilt too, and honestly, a lot of really bad advice floating around. So I want to spend a minute here. Whatever your goals are postpartum, body composition, strength, energy, just wanting to feel like a human again, they're valid and they are definitely achievable. But nutrition in this season is nuanced enough that a calorie counting app or a generic plan isn't going to cut it. You need someone who can actually look at your whole picture and your whole lifestyle. And if you're breastfeeding, this becomes even more important. Your body needs more fuel right now, not less. We do not need to be in a deep caloric deficit. And I know where there is fear that eating more means not making progress, and that restricting means risking your supply too. And the whole thing feels like an impossible math equation to figure out. But here is the truth. The sweet spot where you are making real progress towards your goals while protecting your supply absolutely exists. It just requires someone who actually knows what they're doing and knows how to find it for your specific body and your specific situation. But while you're working toward getting that coaching support in place, let me give you some real practical things that you can start doing now, because simple habits done consistently will always be a perfect plan. First, protein. I cannot say this enough. Protein is your best friend postpartum. It supports muscle repair and rebuilding. It keeps you full, stabilizes your blood sugar so you're not riding that exhaustion and crash wave all day. And if you're breastfeeding, it definitely helps support your supply. Most postpartum mamas are actually significantly under eating protein without even realizing it. So always build your meal around protein first. Start looking at every single meal. A palm-sized portion of chicken, a couple of eggs, some Greek yogurt, a good protein shake. Build the meal around that anchor first, and then let everything else fill in around it. Aim for somewhere in the range of like 25 to 40 grams per meal as a starting point and see how much better you feel. It'll surprise you. And then second, hydration. If you're breastfeeding, you're losing fluid constantly, and most mamas are walking around in a low-grade state of dehydration that is affecting their energy, their mood, their milk supply, and their recovery without them even connecting the dots. Water needs to be non-negotiable. Get a big water bottle. Get a pretty one, something that you're excited about drinking and having around you, one that you actually like. Keep it everywhere, walk around the house with it. Aim for at least half your body weight in ounces per day as a baseline. And if plain water gets too boring, then go ahead and add some electrolytes in it, throw in some lemon, do whatever makes you drink it, but drink it. And then third, track it. I know tracking can sometimes get a bad reputation, and I understand why, but here's the thing. You cannot improve what you cannot see. Tracking your food, even just for a few weeks, is one of the most eye-opening things you can do, because most people have absolutely no idea where they are actually eating or what they're actually eating when they're actually eating it until they write it down. You might discover you're eating far less than you thought. You might realize you're actually skipping meals. You might see patterns around your energy crashes or your supply dips that you never connected otherwise. Tracking isn't about obsessing. It's about getting honest data so that you can make informed decisions. And that information in the hands of a good coach, that's where the real progress happens. I've seen mamas undereat. I've seen them tank their supply and feel like they failed. I've seen them also, feel completely paralyzed, too scared to change anything because they don't want to risk their milk. Neither of those has to be your story. With the right coach, you can nourish your baby, nourish your goals at the same time. It doesn't have to be either or. It can definitely be both and. That is what we believe at OxFit, and that's what we help mamas do every day. So my fifth tip is work with a coach on your nutrition. Prioritize your protein, drink your water, and track it, because the best way to make progress is to actually see it. And then there is the piece that I think matters more than all of the others put together. The piece that nobody puts in their fitness plan, but probably should be at the very top of it. You are meeting a new version of yourself right now. Your body is different. It moves differently. It looks different. And even for someone who loves fitness, even for someone who has always felt strong and capable, postpartum is a completely new landscape. And learning it takes time. Your relationship with your partner is shifting in ways you maybe didn't fully anticipate. Your friendships are changing shape. Your sense of identity is expanding and rearranging itself all at once. That is a lot to hold. So please be patient with yourself. Do not hold your chapter 1 of parenthood and compare it up against someone else's chapter 10. Don't compare your postpartum body to your pre-pregnancy body or to the curated highlight reel on someone else's Instagram. You are in your own story on your own timeline, and your timeline is right. One of the best pieces of advice I have is when you return to fitness postpartum, please protect that hour. Guard that time like it is sacred. Not just for the physical benefits, but for your mental health too. For the version of you that exists outside of being someone's mom. For the person your partner and your baby and your people deserve to be around. When you invest in that hour, you come back fuller. You come back more present. You come back more you. You cannot pour from an empty cup. That is not a cliche. That is something postpartum will teach you faster than almost anything else in life. So my sixth and final tip for coming back to fitness postpartum is to give yourself grace as you meet the new you and protect your hour. Please protect that hour. Don't let it be the first thing you give up when life gets hard. Every week, protect it without apology for your body and please for your mind too. Okay, so let's bring it home. 6 tips for returning to fitness postpartum. 1, enjoy being home and eat the meals, receive the love, be present with your new family. Rest is not laziness, it's recovery. Number 2, when you are ready, start with your breath work and gentle floor exercises. Reconnect before you perform. Number 3, walk every day. It's your greatest tool in those first 6 weeks. Simple, powerful, and it's free. Number 4, see your doctor, see a pelvic floor PT, and then come find a community that actually gets it, like the OxFit Moms group. 5, work with a coach on your nutrition, especially if you are breastfeeding. We need to be fueling our bodies. Your goals and your supply can both coexist. And then 6, give yourself grace as you meet the new you. Protect that hour you give yourself to work out, even if it's a walk outside, every single week for your body and for your mind. If this episode meant something to you today, please share it with a mom who needs to hear it. You are not alone. There are communities that are out there like OxFit Moms that are just waiting to open the doors to you. Leave us a review. It genuinely helps us reach more women who need this kind of content. And then come find us at OxFit. Just walk through the doors. Come learn about the Moms group. Come meet with me to learn about personal coaching, how I can help you on your nutrition journey, how I can help you modify for your return to fitness. We can't wait to meet you. I'll see you guys next week.